Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom, to another episode of The Aftermath. I'm your host tonight, CJ Jones, with my brother, my friend, my good buddy, Chris Timpany. Chris, how are we feeling on another Victory Monday coming off the Faders in Arrowhead West? Is we're still calling it that?
It is Arrowhead
We
West
can still
because they
call it
still
that.
haven't got them in that building. But I'm feeling good, man. It's crazy that I think I hit my lowest point of the season this game in maybe one of the least stressful games outside of that Bears game.
A lot of variations.
A lot of variations, man. It was crazy. They got down 14-0, and I was sitting there like, man, are all the haters right? Are all the cynics that I've been calling out right? Like, do
Never
we
lose
have
faith,
some
Chris.
real issues? Like it
All heart.
it hit me for the first time all year, and then it quickly evaporated because
Just like that.
the offense clicked, the defense did what they've been doing all year, and all of a sudden it was a 31-3 route to end after the 14-0 deficit. Like
3 points the rest of the game. So
it was just
defense
it
let them
was
have
just
fun for a little bit.
right. It was perfect. So like a little worried there for a second, was like, what is going on? We did the live show. We were kind of all talking, you, me, and King, we're all pretty confident, saying like this is a team that like the defense is you shouldn't worry about. Like I'd be surprised if they got, 17, which I know they ended up doing, but like it was, and then they flipped it, and then it was a tale of three quarters, man. How about you? How were you feeling during that game?
No, overall they did what they're supposed to do. Defense, I know eventually like they've been shutting everybody out for the first half of most of our games. So eventually I expected them to have a game where they may let up. I didn't think it would be tonight or yesterday just because that team's offense hasn't really been clicking. But unfortunately, you give up a couple chunk plays and Devontae Adams was Devontae Adams yesterday. And like we said that like DDBs have been amazing this entire year. Are they going to shut every single DB receiver they see this year out? Not necessarily. The AJ Brown, the Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill performances were special, but you're going to get caught slipping. And I'm not upset with you giving up what yards did Devontae finish
It
with
was
him? Was
only
it
73, so
75?
it wasn't even slipping because we can jump right into
Most
that
of it
because
was
that
first half too. So like, yeah, it wasn't even crazy
it
like
was
second
all
half.
first half,
Yeah,
CJ.
like the second half, it was all locked up. So
Devontae Adams went into half with 5 catches for 73 yards.
yeah, finished
He
with
ended the game with 5 catches for 73 yards.
sounds like a
Because
good
I
second half to me.
because so like maybe like Monte Brown got more yards than this, and we typically add him to the lockdown list.
Yeah.
Tyreek was right around 60 some. So this
Overall,
it looked like a game where they were finally going to have 100. The number one receiver was finally going to have 100 yards and maybe be really impactful. And then you look at it, and it's like, no, Snead still did his thing. And man, that guy's built. We can get to this later on a different episode, different time. But that man's paycheck is
Snead
continuing to
is nice, man.
climb with the show that he
Facts.
is putting on this week, man.
Facts. And he's been
So
doing it all year. So yeah, it's right on track. Trey McDuffie, another great game, multiple plays. Definitely like what I saw from the safeties. Um, Justin Reed had some opportunities to make some tackles, but also made a lot of TFLs as well. So and that kind of comes with it when you're in the box playing so much. But that big fourth down stop was huge for this defense. Overall, the defense just like you said, they started off slow in the first half, and that's to be expected. They're not going to shut out every team they see. Eventually, you're going to give up some points, but the mark of a good football team, Chris, is how do you respond to adversity? And I think this team, nobody does it better than us. From the 24-point deficit in 2019 to Pat hurting his ankle to losing our 2 tackles, like nobody embodies losing Tyreek Hill. Nobody embodies change and overcoming adversity more than this team. And to be down 14-0, Chris, imagine what you were thinking. Imagine what the team or like the fans who really hate the team thought
right.
at that point. Like, oh my God, we suck. We're not going to win the game. It's over. Blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, 28-3-1, just like that. And the old Chiefs are back. So and Pat said it in the summertime. We're great for ratings, bro. So it makes for a fun outcome.
They are great for ratings, especially that first half. Again, the second half was a little more slower as
Bro,
far as
that the drafts
nerves
were probably
go.
going crazy, Chris. They were like, oh, I'm about to hit him with this one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The drafts were probably full, and that was the thing too. Is like I saw after the first offensive play was that negative 11-yard screen to Pacheco. I
First play, I was
saw it.
like,
Oh, I saw it's over tweets. Now I know like 2 or 3 people doesn't represent all of Chiefs Kingdom, but like there
bro,
are
we're
people.
cooked.
Yeah, there are people that were that done. Now again, when it was 14-0 and it should have probably been 21-0. Thank you, Carlson and
For
Antonio Pierce
missing that kick. Thank you.
for missing the kick and for Pierce not going for it. Thank you for both of those things because it probably would have been 21-0 or at least 17-0. So Yeah, there were reasons for concern because the defense was getting gashed and the offense had ran 4 or what was it, 7 plays and
3 and out.
yeah. So it wasn't very clean at the start, and then all of a sudden, Rashee Rice, man, just started going off. Like I know he caught the 39-yard touchdown, and like the breakaway speed and the way he was able to tightrope the sideline there, like it was a pretty play. Dude, the like 12-yard out that he caught on the sideline where
That
he got both,
snag
yeah, where he like not only did he have to go up and snag it, he also had to get both feet in bound.
on
Like
his head.
this kid, I've been pretty certain that he's a wide receiver 2 long term, but he's showing some flashes of a wide receiver 1, man. Like
Chris, I told you.
I
So
know, like
outside the number routes, they're coming. They thought he was a slot boy the whole year, Chris. They told me he's only a slot receiver. I'm like, you're lying. I know he can play outside.
no one on this show was saying that he was just a slot receiver. I was just saying if you're having success on a group that's not having success, why change it?
And now look
But
at it.
they started running a couple drag routes too, which was still out of the slot. That was what the 39-yard touchdown. He was in the slot, came
Yep,
across the field and
up and
took it.
right.
But he's definitely got a good skill set. And like, are the injuries a blessing in disguise? Did it finally force the Chiefs to do what you and I and half of Chiefs Kingdom have been talking about? And too many cooks in the kitchen, man.
Yeah, we said that before the show. I was like, this injury bug is going to be just like the AFC Championship game. You're limiting how many guys can play, so now you have to work with what you have, and you have to put guys in a position to succeed. And it's funny that play that he caught that sideline throw that over the top. Guess who else was in the slot that I've been begging to be in there? It was Sky Moore, and ironically, he dragged 2 defenders with him. So Rashee Rice was left one-on-one on the out and up. Then he made a play on the ball. Amazing throw by Pat, first and foremost. But
right.
Rashee Rice still made an amazing catch to go get the ball in one-on-one coverage. So, but that's the vision that I've been saying, and me and Chris, you've been talking about it for weeks of this offense. Rashee Rice having his snaps where he's in the slot, he's very dominant, like you said. But at times he can play outside the numbers and make those kind of plays because he's that kind of receiver. Now, I know his SMU tape this previous year, not 21, didn't show that necessarily. But if you go back and watch the tape the last 2 years, that kid can play outside the numbers given the opportunity. Hell, he had a go ball that he beat the DB on in the preseason versus the Browns. I know it's the preseason, but remember that drop? It was terrible. It was in Arrowhead.
Yeah, on the
Everybody
cover
was like, oh
zero.
my God.
Yeah.
I was watching it too. It was funny.
The drops are still there too, and that's fine.
It's not easy ones too. He's like missing the layups.
That's fine. You can have one drop a game.
Yeah, if you're getting like 10 targets.
Yeah. If you're, yeah, well, hell, I mean, I know he just had 10 targets and over 100 yards and touchdown, but like, you know, if you're getting 7 and 70 a game or something along those lines, like you can drop the ball. There's no one else in this team. Like, I prefer it?
Yeah.
No, of course not. But like,
and it's not gonna happen every game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It happens. He drops about one.
Knock on wood. Not every game.
But that's just, you know, as a rookie who, again, outside of like Jeremy Maclin, I know there's someone else I'm forgetting. There hasn't been a lot of receivers that have had success as rookies in Andy Reid's system. Mm-hmm. And Rashee Rice, I don't know if it's by default because of how bad the rest of the crew is. But man, it was fun to see. It was fun to see that what Chiefs Kingdom has been saying, they finally felt like everyone knows that Pacheco, Kelsey, and Rice are your best playmakers.
Give the ball to your best players.
And those were the 3 guys, you know,
very simple.
Rush pass. Pacheco, I think, had over 20 some odd touches. Kelsey had like 8 targets. Rice had 10 targets. That's what you want every game. Sprinkle in reliable Justin Watson and Noah Gray. Sprinkle in a couple drag routes or short routes for Sky Moore. And just have MVS block because he's pretty good at blocking. He can't catch, but he's pretty good at blocking on the edge.
No, that's how it should be. You give the ball to your best players. And I think we figured out the formula. Give Pacheco 15 plus carries a week. We've said that for the last year. Give Rashee and Travis, in my opinion, those 2 combined should have 15 plus target every week, just those 2 alone. And like you said, the rest of the target can be spread out between everyone else, how you see fit. When McKinnon is back, he'll get his touches, sprinkling some Sky, some J. Watt. And then, like you said, just I want Noah's touches to go up like you. I would like to see that go up as well. But yeah, that's how the offense should work. I think we figured out a formula what works for this offense that's going to give us the best chance to succeed. And looking across the NFL this past weekend, Chris, it's not going to take a lot to beat the teams in the AFC or the NFC. Not trying to give out any brand new information, Chris, but there's a lot of bad football being played across the league. So are we struggling? Yes. Have we gotten better? Absolutely. Are we where we want to be? Absolutely not. But at the same time, I can say that about a lot of teams. And looking at the way we played against Philly, the way we played against Miami, Jacksonville. Obviously, we're going to see Buffalo here in a couple of weeks. Their season may kind of be over now. We're going to see, the Bengals game doesn't count anymore because Joe Burrow's not there. So looking at comparing us to the top teams in the league, I'm not really upset the way we've played this year. Could we have played better? Yes. But the top teams in the AFC and the top teams in the NFC, we look like a team that can go win a championship again, in my opinion. Are we at our peak? Have we hit our ceiling? Absolutely not. But I think after Sunday, Chris, we're trending towards that way.
Yeah, and again, they kind of and goes to what you and I have been saying all year. Like, look at the rest of the days that you already beat the Dolphins
Yep.
and the Jags. I know the Dolphins defense was playing better, but they just lost Jalen Phillips. So like,
That sucks.
that's a team with the way the Chiefs defense is playing. The Jaguars and the Dolphins do not have good enough defenses to be able to go up with the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are going to put up points on those guys. Now the Ravens are the one team that I wouldn't be
it'd be an interesting
I don't know
matchup.
the word. Yeah, it'd be a good matchup. Like it would be something to where I wouldn't go in with the utmost confidence. I'd be real about it and be like, hey, this is a game. This is a game. Lamar balls out. The Ravens defense makes a few plays. They lose easy. The Dolphins and Jags, while they could beat the Chiefs, I would still be, fairly confident in an AFC championship game. So, like, you're telling me there's one team in the entire AFC to where you have a little bit of pause, despite all the issues. Two of the top leaders in penalties, even though I know Sneads are a necessary cause. One of the most penalized teams, an offense that has no wide receivers, like all these issues the Chiefs had, and there's only one team you're kind of concerned about. And oh, by the way, you lost to two of the best three teams in the NFC by self-induced,
Mistakes. Like they didn't do nothing to us. We did it. So
yeah. So like you're sitting here feeling really good, being like, man, if you can beat the Ravens, if that matchup were to happen, you're feeling pretty good about your chances of going back-to-back Super Bowls.
absolutely. And I would love that. I was more concerned about the matchup before the Mark Andrews injury. Without Mark Andrews, that changes things for me because now I watched that offense last night and they were kind of struggling to move the ball at times. And you could say maybe they're not being aggressive. Same thing we've been saying. Are you not being aggressive or is the Chargers really giving you issues? But outside of Zay Flowers and Odell, Isaiah Likely was cool, but their offense doesn't really, from a passing game standpoint, put that much fear in my heart the way Jacksonville and Miami does. So there's pros and cons to any three of those matchups, Miami, Jacksonville, Baltimore. But if any of them teams coming in Arrowhead in January, I'd be very confident given we have, 6 more weeks of football left. So I'd be very confident we'd be trending in the right direction offensively because I know our defense is going to handle their business for sure.
I know we're spending a lot of time looking ahead here at even a matchup that may or may not happen in the Ravens, but like it just dawned on me like you don't see it very much. I know like nickel's the default in today's NFL. You could run base against the Ravens, man. Get Tranquil, Bolton will be healthy, and Willie Gay out
Willie
there.
could play in the slot, yeah.
And just have Snead and McDuffie get Flowers outside. And Odell on the outside and just say, cool all right, Lamar, beat us with your arm, because we're going to have 3 ball hawking run defenders in the middle there with those 3 linebackers and say
two elite corners right now. So I'm fine with that matchup.
You won't see a lot of base anymore, but like
we really could run that.
Depending on what happens. Now, of course, if Lamar starts making a few throws and you need another DB out there, easy fix.
Mike Edwards in there, yeah.
But start the game, with Tranquil, healthy Bolton, and Willie Gay. Like I like that a lot against that Ravens offense. But anyway, back to the game against the Raiders. Chiefs do move to 8-3. With the Bills losing, they do not have a game against an opponent over 500. The Bills are 500.
Patriots, Packers, Raiders.
Yeah, they play the Packers, who are playing a little better. It's not a gimme. We'll get into that game later in the week. So they don't have outside of the Patriots. I don't say they have any gimmies, but the remaining 6 games are going to be favored in all of 4+ points in all of them. So, do you think this team runs the table, or kind of how are you feeling about where this team's going to end up record-wise with the remaining schedule?
A lot changes in 30 days, huh? 30 days ago, I would have never even thought that in my mind. Like, you got to play Joe Burrow and Josh Allen in a matter of 3 weeks or 4 weeks, 2 weeks apart. So that's a lot to ask for a football team. Granted, both of those games will be in Arrowhead, which I love the advantage. But 30 days later, we're looking here now. The Bills have 6 losses. Their season could essentially be over. Joe Burrow's out for the year for the Bengals. The Patriots are going to have a top 5 pick
They're trying to lose.
on purpose for the first time in a while.
Anyone who tortured themselves watching that Giants Patriots game, you saw that they were trying to lose.
Imagine paying money to go watch that. Jesus Christ. Out of the Raiders, we play them again on Christmas Day. That's going to be funny. I expect another snow globe, ironic type play on that day. Chargers again. And then, like you said, we obviously have the Packers this week on Sunday night in Lambeau. Ironically, Aaron Rodgers will not be there.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a very favorable schedule going forward. You never want to disrespect your opponent. Any player or coach will tell you that. But to Chris's point, we should be favored in all of those games. And it's a very, very high chance that if we handle our business, start trending up, and the offense starts hitting their stride, like Chris Jones said in his presser, we could see this team run the table and finish with a very, very favorable record, which would be what? 14-3? Sounds like a good year.
If they run the table. Yeah. And
sounds like a good year to me.
And even if they drop a game, the Jaguars and Dolphins would have to run the table to be a higher seed. So, like, even if say Josh Allen back against the wall comes out and balls out in Arrowhead, wouldn't shock anyone. You know, they need it to keep their season alive. Would not shock me if that happened. And they finished 13-4. If the Ravens win out, then they're ahead of the Chiefs. And same with the Jags and Dolphins. But if any of those 3 teams also lose one of their last 6, Chiefs have the tiebreakers over all of them.
All of them. Facts.
As of right now. So now I don't know exactly what the Bills' loss would do to the tiebreaker with the Ravens, but you're still looking at worst case scenario, a 2 seed in a or I don't know if lackluster is the word, but you know, a less than terrifying AFC than what we thought it was going to be at starting the season.
No, for sure. And the Ravens still got some tough games left. They still have to play the 49ers, I believe. That's going to be a tough game for them. So, they have a lot of tough games on their schedule. That's going to be a good one. I think Philly plays San Fran this week too. That's going to be a fire one.
That's Monday night, I think, right?
Monday night, Monday night.
Yeah, is Eagles San Fran.
That's going to be some. Actually, no, I think maybe 3 o'clock. Actually, I think I'm mistaken.
Oh, is it 3? All right. Either way, it's going to be a good game.
Best game of the weekend for sure. That's going to be the one that's like our game versus Philly. That type of hype, like 2 Super Bowl teams, 2 teams that can win their conference. So it's a rematch. Yeah, same place of NFC Championship game when we were playing Cincinnati. That was the game. So it's going to be a lot of good football this weekend. But overall, to sum up what we did, defense was start off slow, dominated the second half, only giving up 3 points the rest of the game. That's an elite defense if I haven't seen one. Offense finally hit their stride, doing what they need to do. I think offensively we started, like you said, we simplified things. And I think we actually started running plays dictated toward the coverage that I've been asking for. So teams obviously don't play a lot of man versus us. Well, I say as much as they should, because they know Pat usually cooks man, and you don't want to turn your back towards Mahomes because he's going to run for a first down if you give it to him. So teams obviously are forcing us to challenging our receivers. Can you sit in a zone? And I think we figured out ways to do that this weekend. And when they do play man against us, we ran the correct man beaters versus coverage, like the drag route for the touchdown, the out and up when the Rashee Rice caught his pass. Even Sky Moore had a couple outs on his plays in the middle of the field. That flea flicker that we ran, double flea flicker almost with to Travis Kelce, hell of a throw by Pat for one.
I can't believe they let Kelce leak like that. Like
he just slow got down the flat. He got up the sideline too. There were like 8 people around him too.
Those are the kind of plays where you want it's like to Noah Gray or Blake Bell or someone who you
were not expecting
is in there to run block, and it's easy. No, it was Travis Kelce that snuck out on that.
Exactly. No, that was a hell of it. And it feels like we always run of our creative plays versus the Raiders. So maybe that's like the game we should have called that, Chris. We should have knew that was going to be our breakout game. We always do something wild versus them. So
did you see the DB for the Raiders saying that they had more
Lance Robert,
and that they were better than
they're soft. We're better than them. I'm like, okay. Three points in the second half says otherwise.
I get the mentality, man, but like
you ain't got to lie on TV, bro.
Yeah, you ain't got to lie on TV like that.
Like, you ain't got to do that. Just say you lost the game. It's okay. Like you can say, hey, we're confident. We should have beat that team. You can say all those things, but to say you're the better football team when you only scored 3 points in the rest of the game. All right.
Yeah, it's wild.
This offense haven't scored a second half touchdown in 3 weeks, Chris. How many we scored yesterday? 2.
Right. Hey,
what that say about you?
That brings me to my last point before we get out of here. Is the offense fixed? Like, or is this just kind of a flash in the pan? You were playing a division. You didn't have McKinnon. You didn't have Hardeman. You didn't have Tony. So you were forced. Or like once say like Tony and McKinnon are back next week. I don't know exactly the long term, but they're not on IR, so that's definitely a possibility. Do we see the same kind of offensive snap count to where it is really 4 guys? I know Richie James was technically got snaps, but like he was a
Special
distant
team.
fifth
Yeah.
on the offense, or is it back to running 6, 7 guys 30 plus plays a game?
I mean, from a coaching standpoint, I think you have to just stick with your floor.
I
It's
think so
working.
too.
It has success. Not to say like KT, Mecole, and Ozzy McKinnon's in the running back room, so he's going to get his touches. And let's give a clap to Clyde. Clyde played well. Like he didn't make any mistakes. He didn't go out there and try to fuck it up like he usually does, Chris. He hit the hole when he had to. He got a couple tough runs, got us down to the goal line and set it up for Pop to run the touchdown in. I'm gonna give Clyde his flowers for giving a second the RB2 role, which a lot of us never even want to see him in that role, never even want to see him on the field at some points. For him being asked to do so, I know he was a first round pick, but for what he was asked to do yesterday, and I know every time he touched the ball, you had that look on your face like, oh God, here we go again. He played well. So
He
I'm
had
gonna give
one.
Clyde his credit for doing his job. He wasn't amazing. I'm not saying, not gassing it, but he did his job yesterday, and I think that deserves some recognition.
Yeah,
But is the offense fixed? It's pending. We're trending towards the right direction. I want to see a performances, consistency like that for the next 3 weeks. And as you said, Green Bay, New England, Buffalo's defense is not good this year. We play the Raiders again. There's a lot of opportunities for this offense to hit their stride and get back to not fully being themselves, but close to that level before we get into January. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for the offense to get there. But right now, I'm gonna say it's halfway fixed, not fully fixed.
Clyde couldn't
Did
even
his
get a
job.
yard. They almost gave. I am convinced they're going to give it to him on the second time. He got on first down. He had a nice run. Got through the hole.
Got us all the way down. He
Got
punched it in.
6, 7 yards. Almost got in. Then they gave it to him on second and goal at the 1. Got stuffed.
Blown up.
They were gonna give it to him again, but
Hey, that
somebody
wasn't his fault,
called
Chris. They got
timeout.
through the line. What you want me to
Somebody
do?
called timeout to stop that and be like, okay, let's get Pop back in there and let's see what he can do because he's the guy. Any running back can have a nice run here and there, and I'm sure Clyde did everything that he was asked to. I'm just over it. The whole thing, the taking him in the first round, to him leaving for the Super Bowl parade for a fashion show, to him being a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl, like all these little things, all these storylines about this irrelevant running back. It just that's only on the team because he was a first round pick. If he was a 5th round pick, he would have been off last year. So I don't know. Like I'm just done with him. I mean, he was fine. He was fine this week for the first time in a while. I didn't
That's
watch
all
him
I
today.
asked for. That's
I
all
didn't
I
watch
asked
him
for.
and be like, oh man, he looks extra slow like he normally does. He actually had a little juice, but like
You see me? That's all we
it's
asked for, Chris.
it's
Nothing more,
Clyde
nothing less.
Edwards-Helaire.
Do that. Just play
It's
that.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
And he did his job. Good job, 2-5. Good job, baby.
Okay.
Hey,
All
give him a
right.
pat on the foot. Good job, son.
Being the positive one. CJ, you got anything else before we get out of here?
Uh, Not that I can think of. Sunday Night Football. We're in Green Bay. Historic matchup. I know a lot of people that we know are like from the Illinois, Chicago area are going to be driving out there. So that's
Yeah.
going to be cool to go out there and see that stadium because those tickets are crazy high. Even if no Aaron Rodgers or not, those tickets are still very expensive. So if you are going out there, take plenty of pictures. I love to see all the experience from the fans and everything. That's a one-on-one experience going to go to Lambeau for sure. Because last time we were there was, we ain't been there since like what, before 2010? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. What, 2013 or
It was like
2015?
2008, 2009. Yeah, it's before 2010, I think, last time we been up there.
So it's definitely been a minute. So
Long time.
it'll be a good game to see.
Long time.
CJ, where can the good people find you for all your Chiefs hot takes as you throw them out and your betting ones? You're doing pretty good on the betting brand.
We've been hitting some stuff. Anything Chiefs wise, add on Twitter, CGZ81, CJEEZY81. I will be posting some bets for the game on Sunday. And if you have any questions or any comments about the show, me and Chris's rants, any ideas, we're open ideas, people. And make sure you follow the page at aftermath_KC as Chris. Chris runs that page, not me. I just retweet stuff. I don't do nothing on there. That's all Chris. If you have any issues, point them at Chris.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, my rants is about all I bring to the table on this. ZJ's actually got the in-depth breakdowns. I deal more with emotions, so but you can follow me on Twitter at 10penny88. Also, please, if you're listening to this on Spotify or if you're watching on YouTube but haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. You can find us as KC Sports Authority. Do a lot of great work. They're doing a lot of good KU stuff, KU basketball. I know as great as KU basketball has been over the years, there aren't a lot of sources for your basketball. So why not make it KC Sports Authority? And also, check out the aftermath while you're doing. CJ and I like to have a good time. We're always talking Chiefs. For the most part, stay pretty positive. I'll go on an angry rant about short yardage plays or Clyde Edwards-Helaire every now and
And we
again.
ran it on multiple short
I
yardages
know, I
yesterday.
know.
Great
We
story.
didn't even
Yeah,
get to that.
yeah.
That's back-to-back
Where's the
games.
tweet? I need a tweet. You better tweet that out. Yeah.
No, because it's back-to-back
No.
weeks. They did it with the Eagles too. That's 2 weeks in a
So you
row.
should be tweeting two
That's
times.
that's 2 weeks in a row that the short yardage play has been just give it to the running back, and I've been a big fan. Remember, I tweeted last week when they gave it to McKinnon on 3rd and 3, first run on a 3rd and 3 or more that wasn't a pat scramble all year long. So, I mean,
Keep it going.
that
Keep it going.
self-scouting report that they said that came out this week may have had some truth
Maybe
to
it'll
it.
work. Maybe
Rashee
it'll work.
Rice getting a lot of targets. They're running it on 3rd and short and 4th and
Ran
short.
it on the goal line twice.
So I
Hey,
don't know.
Chris.
It's
Hey,
it's
I'm just
looking up. It's always been good to be a Chiefs fan over these last 6-7 years, but it's even turning up more as this weeks go on. We'll just see if the offense can keep it going. But otherwise, that's going to do it for us this week. We will talk to you next time.
oh,